Brian Gula, he is the Environmental Education Specialist at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center, joining us now. Brian, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, great to be here.
We always talk about Presque and we think summer and the beaches and going for a run when it's really hot, but there's so much to do and see all year round, right?
Oh, the wintertime at Presque, I mean, it's my favorite.
Ah, okay.
Beat the crowds, the number one.
Yes, right.
Well, we still have a great amount of visitation,
Yeah.
that occurs in the wintertime. And depending on, what kind of weather we get, if we get good ice, and the ice is safe on the bay and Misery Bay in certain areas, you'll have 1,000 fishermen out there on a Saturday,
Yeah.
So, people utilize Presque all year long, and so does the wildlife, I mean, we have some animals that, may stay dormant for a little while during the wintertime, but there are many species in all the different habitats that we have on Presque Isle that, stay active throughout the winter.
And you've been with Presque Isle for many years, and you said there are still nooks and crannies of the park that surprise you, that you haven't seen. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, a lot of times locally or if you're out of town visiting Presque Isle, driving around the peninsula is kind of the common thing to do.
Sure.
But, there's so many unique trails that we have on the park. And there's so many different types of habitats throughout the peninsula. Some of my favorite trails is what's called Old Ridge Trail. It's not on the Presque Isle map. It used to be in the 80s, and they took it off, but you can still access the trail through Sidewalk Trail over to Marsh Trail. And what it is, you're on an ancient sand ridge. So the really cool thing about Presque Isle that a lot of folks don't know is if you're walking Sidewalk Trail and you notice that ridge line that's kind of paralleling the trail as you go, that was the water's edge at a point in history.
Gotcha.
As the peninsula was growing and moving along. And so that is really unique habitat, and it's an ancient forest, and then you're surrounded by wetlands, older wetlands and newer wetlands, kind of all in these different habitats. And that's what makes Presque Isle so unique, is you can see so many different types of wildlife in a very short distance of travel.
What should folks know about Presque Isle in January, February, March, if perhaps they're not one of the ones who typically venture out to the park in the winter? What should they know? What should they look for?
It really comes down to what kind of weather we're having. Every day is different on the peninsula.
It's funny you say that because we actually had fishermen yesterday. Remember Isley's shot? We had fishermen.
Not ice fishermen.
Not ice fishermen.
Regular,
put their boat in, and it's just if it's warm enough.
Yesterday there was a gentleman in a boat in Misery Bay. They're always taking advantage. Whether there's ice on there, you'll have ice fishermen. If it's open water, they're out fishing the open water. And same thing with migrating waterfowl. As we get these blasts of Arctic cold and minus temperatures and things freeze up, there's areas on the peninsula that will stay open. So, for example, like the North Pier, North to South Pier, I've literally seen 40,000 birds at once.
Wow.
When the parts of the bay start freezing up and you have that open channel still, and I mean, red-breasted mergansers, longtails, pintails, I mean, so many different species of waterfowl. Yesterday we went around the park and kind of the aftermath of that ice storm a little bit. There was a really cool, with the water currents, chunks of like little floating icebergs in Horseshoe Pond with the houseboats. And there were great blue herons actually kind of standing on the iceberg.
Riding up,
Cool.
So
nice.
It's just, every day you go out there, there's something to see.
It's a great chance to get out and get some fresh air, even when those temperatures get a lityou cooler. We're out of time, but Brian, thanks so much for being here.
You're
welcome.
You can tell how much you love the park. I love that.
Yeah, hey, if you get a chance, whether it's rain, sunshine, or snow, you never know what you're going to see when you take a ride around the peninsula.
I love that. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.